Good morning, everyone. Today's lecture we are going to discuss about the biology of the eukaryotic cell. So, before we proceed with the eukaryotic cell, we need to understand what is the difference between the prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So, first we will discuss the prokaryotes and eukaryotes, and then we will start discussing what is the eukaryotic cell and what are the various components which are actually there in the eukaryotic cell. So, if we'll just go with the slide, prokaryotes and eukaryotes are distinguished on the basis of their cellular characteristics. Prokaryotic cells lack a nucleus and other membrane-bound structures which are known as organelles, while eukaryotic cells have both nucleus and organelles. So I think that is a basic difference which prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells have. So prokaryotic cells lacks the nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles, while eukaryotic cells have both these. Prokaryotes and eukaryotic cells are similar in several ways. Both types of cells are enclosed by cell membranes, which is sometimes called as a plasma membrane, and both use DNA as their genetic information. Prokaryotes, if we'll just see the examples, there are several kinds of microorganisms such as bacteria, cyanobacteria, while eukaryotic includes microorganisms such as fungi, protozoa, simple algae, and also it includes various higher organisms like mammals and others. So this is kind of a pictorial diagrammatic representation of how prokaryotes and eukaryotic cells looks like. So if you'll just see, both of these have plasma membrane, considering this as a animal cell, not as a plant cell. If it's a plant cell, then it's going to have the cell wall as well. Both types of cells have cytoplasm, and because of the cytoplasm, it's very easy to transport the molecules across the cells. The most important features of any cell or any living cell is their genetic information, which is in the form of DNA, which is deoxyribonucleic acid. The most important feature of the eukaryotic cell is its most important organelle or membrane-bound vesicle called as a nucleus, in which you have a very compactly packed DNA, which is really important to carry out different functions through the proteins. There is something called as a ribosomes, which are very important again because these are the small subunits which actually are involved in the process of protein synthesis, which are the functional molecules, you can say, which are there in both types of cells. If we'll just compare the size of the prokaryotic cell, it ranges from 0.1 to 10 micrometers, while the eukaryotic cell ranges from 10 to 100 micrometers. So this is kind of a pictorial diagrammatic view of how both types of cells looks like. The very important aspect now, I think we have discussed what is the difference between the prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So the first question comes in our mind, if we'll just see why these eukaryotic cells have small compartments which are called as organelles. Why don't the bacteria doesn't have this kind of a thing? So why eukaryotic cells? So we say that these are advanced, so that means there is something advanced in that, and that is why we have compartmentalization. So by the end of the session, the students should be able to understand, identify different organelles in the cells and discuss their functions, explain why eukaryotic cells are divided into compartments. Then the last one is account for the particular distribution of organelles in the different cell types. So the most important thing that we have is why we have compartmentalization. So the cell is divided into several compartments enclosed by the unit membrane. Each compartment has a specific structure and function. That is one of the important reasons why we have compartmentalization in higher organelles or organisms. For example, nuclear compartments. Nucleus contains dense fibrillar chromatin, function, genetic replication and transcription. The nucleoli is specialized part of the nucleus. The second example would be the endoplasmic reticulum, which is really involved in the process of protein synthesis and lipid synthesis. And rough endoplasmic reticulum precisely is involved in synthesizing different proteins, which are like interconnecting sacs or cisternae with ribosomes on the cytoplasmic surface, enclosing a lumen. So this is a kind of a typical plant cell which we have. So it has a cell wall. It has various other organelles which animal cells has, like mitochondria, Golgi, lysosomes, peroxisomes, and other various organelles. It also has a plasma membrane. Then why are the eukaryotic cells divided into compartments? I think that we will be discussing in the next lecture. So I hope you understood why what is the basis of the cell biology.